Hi, I'm Sherry from the Fancy Crow, and I am getting ready to make a layered patriotic bow with tails. Wanted to show you how it's done, so I've gathered my patriotic ribbons in different widths, a few other supplies that you'll see in the video, and you'll be able to see how it's made. I am using M's Bow Maker, and I've taken some of the spindles off, and that's okay. But if you want to make it without a bow maker, you notice the technique, and instead of these two spindles, you use fingers right here to hold your ribbon and twist back and forth, just like I do with the bow maker. So let's go to the work mat and I'll show you how it's done. So this bow that I'm making is going to be really appropriate for outdoors. I like to use zip ties when I'm making an outdoor bow, so I'm just going to set that zip tie down in the bottom of my bow maker, and I'm going to put my chenille stem that I will have to attach it, or if I was going to use a long piece of ribbon to attach it, I'd put that there. And then I have already prepared 3 24-inch pieces because I want 12-inch bow tails on my bow, and so I've dovetailed the ends, and I'll have a video on how to do that coming up soon. I'll be sure to put a link in there. I'm going to take each one and find the center of it and kind of accordion fold it in there. Think about the color I want. I want that white one laying on top. I'm going to accordion fold it. It's going to come undone, but that makes me feel like those wires will be in there a little tighter instead of getting everything all mashed up. As you can see, I've pulled those tails to the side, and I am ready to make my 12-inch bow. So half of 12 is 6, so I am going to take my ribbon off the spool, and my bow maker has a little holder for the spool. The M Bow Maker does a really good job of that. Makes it easy. I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to line those up with that 6 inches because that's half of 12. I want a 12-inch bow. I'm going to hold my finger really tight here, and I'm going to twist. I choose to twist away from me. If you always twist the same way, your ribbon won't get tangled. Then I want this to be 6 inches because 12 inches across. I'm going to put my finger there, and I'm going to run the bow in there. And then once it's over here, I'm going to press down. It will be a little bit longer than 6, but once the bow is fluffed, it'll wind up being 12 inches. I'm going to twist it away from me again and lay it down at 6. Tuck that in there, and as you can see, my ribbon's no longer tangled. It went right back to where it was. I'm going to hold it down. So I want 2 loops of this color. So I'm going to leave those there. I'm going to cut this at the 6-inch piece. And I go ahead and finish off the ends as I'm working. Here's how I dovetail. I'm going to cut about the width down. So that makes kind of like a right triangle, if you remember your geometry. And I like to sear the edges. I will do those later for the rest of them, but I just wanted to show you that real quick. We'll have another video that has a little more in-depth of that. The next color I want to use is red, and I'm going to do the same thing because I want it to be 12 inches long, and I'm going to try and get that in there so that it makes a nice neat twist in there. So every time you go through the 2 spindles on your bow maker, no matter what bow maker you're using, you're going to twist. And I do that even when I have ribbons like this that are the same color on both sides. It kind of helps your bow lay better. You don't have to. So I'm going to make my tails the same. And I'm ready to go. I'll cut this off. I will sear it later so that it doesn't fray. I just need to remember to do that. Now with this ribbon here, I want to do four loops instead of 2. So I'm going to go ahead and find that zip tie, and I want to zip tie this because I want to put them so that they're kind of opposite. So before I pull that zip tie totally tight, I'm going to go through and put another zip tie, and I'll have another video where I talk more about using zip ties to secure your bows. Today I just want to show you the general basics of making a bow. And I'm using the bow maker today, but once you know this technique, instead of having those 2 spindles hold your bow, you will have your fingers hold the bow. So I want another 6-inch. This is going to be 6 inches, so I'm going to lay that down there. I'm going to twist. I always twist away from me. If it's more comfortable to twist toward you, that's fine. Just be consistent in how you twist so your ribbon comes back to the shape you want it to. You know, what doesn't twist up on you. That's the nice thing about having that spindle there to hold your ribbon. And I have 2 loops just like the ones I just did, but this one I want to have 4 loops. So I'm going to do another 2 loops. That means this bow is going to have a little more white than the red and the blue. So when you're making your bow, you're also doing some designing. Whoops, I did it the wrong way. That's what making those decisions as to how many loops of what color, and then using some different techniques can also help with your design. So I have 4 loops there. I'm going to go ahead and do another color. This one, oh, no, I'm not, because this one's narrower, and so I want to, I'll need to make it smaller, or I want to make it smaller because it's layered. So see how these loops are going this way? I made that loop that I just did perpendicular. So I just took that zip tie I put on those loops. I'm going to pull it not quite tight because here's the zip tie for my next section. I like to pull that zip tie as tight as I can. Now I'm ready for the narrower bows, or the narrower loops, sorry. And so that was 6, so I want these to be 5. I want them about 1 inch less, so I'm going to go to that 5. Lay it down the same way I did, twist it, go to 5, twist it, and again I would be searing these edges, but I'll wait and do that later so that you don't have to wait and watch me do that. We'll have a whole nother lesson on that. Take my next one, go to 5, twist. So every time I come through here, I'm going to twist. Want to make sure that's as low as it can be. I'll hold my thumb here really tight. That helps me to not pull my ribbon on one loop. Go back in on this side. So here's the loop. I'm going to hold my ribbon really tight. Well, I don't need to because it's already right side up, so I'm good. I just cut it. And now I'm going to get even narrower ribbon. And I'm just going to eyeball this one because I want to put them all in the same one. So I'm going to make it about 1 inch less. I can look and see that that's 4 with this 1.5 inch ribbon. Again, I'm going to twist it and hold it tight here when I do that twisting. And I want to make sure that I've twisted it all the way around. All right, so I'm going to go to 4. And don't be afraid to smash your ribbon down because you can fluff it right back up. You're not going to hurt it. I'm going to do 3 loops or 4 loops on this one. And then I'll do my last ribbon. We're just going to keep, each layer will twist every time we get in there, and I always twist the same direction. Now I'm going to do something a little tricky. I'm going to go around this loop and lay it down. That's going to make my center loop kind of a little tricky. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but it works nicely. And then I'm going to take this and put it in this last zip tie here. And when I do these, I always make it so that the connector for the zip tie is between the layers. That makes it easy. I know you can't see with my hand in the way. I'm just pulling that zip tie tight as I can. And then I'm going to cut it. There it is, and then I'm going to twist it around inside there. All right, now I'm ready to fluff my bow and get all my things out of the way. I will come back and fix those tails that I neglected, but you don't have to stay for that. So I want to make sure that these are in between my colors. So I have blue, white, red, white. So blue, red, blue, white in between. So I need a white coming up next. And then my red's going to be there and my white. All right, so I did the back part. They're pretty much fanned out. Now I'm going to do the layered part. I'm just making sure that I have alternate colors coming and going. Red, red. I'm going to pull this over here. And then I'm going to put, here's my center. And I'm going to pull really hard on those so that they go where I want them to go. After I have all the loops where I want them to go, I'm just going to start fluffing. When I fluff, I just put my hand in there and I take that crimp out and I make sure that this part is turned the right way. I do the bottom and the top sometimes separately. Well, most of the time separately, so that I can fluff them. But just open those loops up and you will have a bow. I will finish fluffing and show you the end result. So here's the finished bow. I've trimmed up all the tails and fluffed it up, and we have a beautiful bow for hanging on a lantern or maybe on your front porch on a post. So check out all of our ribbons. The ribbons I used today will be in the comments, but take a look at the Fancy Crow and see what kinds of ribbon we have. If If you're interested in an M's bow maker, I've got those too, and that will also be in the comments. I appreciate you stopping by today and watching this video. Please be sure to share it with your friends, like it, and most definitely hit that subscribe button. Thanks for visiting the Fancy Crow. Have a great day.